Hello, this is Carrie from Wooing Nature. Hope you all are doing well today. This is your summer reading. Okay, so your summer reading. I'm going to start out with Cancer since it's Cancer season. I am going to be reading from the Earthcraft cards. I'm also going to be reading from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. I wanted to get you all close to your nature as we are going into the summer season because I think that it would benefit everyone to reconnect to the earth as much as possible. What I really like about these cards, these are created by Juliet Diaz and Lorraine Anderson. She's the reader, and I'm trying to figure out who is it that did the art here. I don't know why it doesn't say, but at any rate, there's two sisters here that put these cards together, and I really like them. They give good messages, overall messages, and they also give good, um, um, well, not just the message, but just the overall what should be happening, with you at the time. So that's what I'm trying to say. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to be reading from the Earthcraft. We're just going to let the Earthcraft speak. This gives for my Cancer souls. And then after that, we're going to go and do a medicine wheel. See where you all are. It's good to take an assessment. All right, so we got the mountain here. I love this card because if you have ever been to the mountains or driven through the mountains, you will see these curves and lines. And to me, when I see those, I think about the curves of a woman and I think about the curves of the Mother Earth. I think of them as being Mother Earth's curves. So this is you can glean a couple of things from a mountain symbol. Okay. So the mountain can represent some sort of obstacle that you have to overcome or that you feel that you have to overcome. The mountain can also represent a pinnacle or a high place. So it may be that for some of you all, you're working on your ascension process. And so you may be at a point where you are now in the mountain for yourself, for your own spirit self. For those of you who may be isolated or you may be isolating, there's a thing about this whole isolating. We don't want to be isolating, but if you are isolated and you're good with it, you're not necessarily isolating, but you'll need to check with your people and do your due diligence as far as your psychological work, your mental work, whichever way you choose to do that is absolutely fine. But you just want to make sure that you are, that your mind, you're aware of how your mind is moving and what it is saying to you, because that's very, very important. Sometimes we're saying things to ourselves that we don't need to say to ourselves. And then other times there are things that we need to say to ourselves that we have to remind. And that's just a part of the process. That's a-okay. Okay. So if you are feeling separated, isolated, you find yourself being away from the fray, and that's just the circumstances. That's how it is. It's because you are in a mountain phase, or it may mean that you are have already made that ascension, and so you're there to do other things. So while you are pulled away from the rest of the crowd or from, other activity, this would be a great time to meditate, to pray, spend as much time as you want to in meditation. For those of you who may be between employment or you have been a part of, what is it, the Great Resignation? You've been a part of Great Resignation. You have all this time on your hands. Use that time to meditate, go in, reflect, think about where you are spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, which we'll look at when we go to the Shaman's Oracle. We'll look at that as well. So it is getting in touch with yourself. I am seeing here the necessity for sleep. In order for you to be able to make the connection to Earth, you need to sleep. Okay? Okay? Sleep is very important because that is when your mental body is shut down and your subconscious can wake up. It is when your body can rest. It is when your cells are regenerating themselves. And so rest is very important. Sleep is very important. Sleep, not just I went to bed last night. Some of y'all go to bed, but you're not sleeping and you're not resting. And you know because you're up every hour on the hour, you keep waking up in the middle of the night, or you're disturbed by something, whatever it might be, and so you need to resolve those issues so that you can truly sleep. Okay. Some of you might think about the bed that you're in. If your bed is not comfortable, make it comfortable for you because you need to be able to sink into it. Okay. Okay. I would say to work with your herbs if you all are having restlessness, sleeplessness. If you're up and you're being awakened at certain times, then of course you'll want to listen there and then do whatever it is that needs to be done, whatever work needs to be done. But you do need to get your rest. It's very important. I'm also seeing for some of you a connection to your water spirits. So Yemaya, Oshun, for some of you, Mami Wata, some of you, and La Sirene, La Bailen. Any of your water spirits, you need to be listening and paying attention to them because this is a water time. It's Cancer season. Okay, so utilize water, okay, as an instrument of listening and hearing. So there are meditations that you can do with water, around water. Meditating around water is the very easy thing. Meditating near fountains is very nice as well, near the ocean, near the river, near the lake, all of that. But there's also some other meditations you can do with the singing bowl, like put the water in the singing bowl and then do the thing, and then allow the water to vibrate and gaze into the water and meditate that way. So there's a lot of different things that you can do around this time because you are in a mountain phase. For those of you who are dealing with difficulties of any kind, if that mountain represents an obstacle for you, the same rules apply. Okay? Do your meditation. Use this time to meditate. When you start to feel depressed, go get yourself still and bring yourself in and breathe yourself down. Okay? Until you get to a point where you're not obsessing or moving around so much. Okay? Here's the next one. This is the shift. So remember we talked about the ascension for some of you being a part of you're dealing with the ascension residuals. I'm going to say that. You're dealing with ascension. For a lot of people, that's what's going on. Okay? Especially if this is the case, right? For any reason, even if it's an obstacle, or whether it's you're feeling like you've been enlightened and you're on the top of the mountain right now. It doesn't matter. The point is that you're now at a certain level, which means ascension is happening. That's the shift. That's the same thing. The shift and the ascension is kind of the same thing for me. For other people that might be different, but for me, when people talk about the shift, or they talk about the ascension, or they talk about the quickening, all of that to me is all the same. So the shift is happening. You need to get in touch with your stone people. So your stone medicines, getting connected with your stones. Go to the stones and put your hands out and wait for the stone to show up for you. Okay. Some people ask me, how do you pick a stone? The stone will call you. It'll call you out the ground. Everybody feels like they got to go to the store to get a stone that is there to work with you. Any stone. It could be any stone. So just spend time outside. There may be stones for some of you that you're going to dig up out of your ground. And those are going to be the stones that you're going to walk with for a certain period of time. But the main thing is you'll make the connection. You'll know. You'll have it in your hands and you will do whatever it is that you need to do next. Okay? Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust God. Trust the spirit that whatever it is that needs to happen is absolutely going to happen. I do see you spending time again. I'm seeing the water again. I'm seeing spending time outside. I'm seeing that this is a part of a transformation. I'm seeing that this transformation is taking place during the summer months. Okay. And so that's the kind of thing you want to think about. This may be happening for you all the way to the winter. So you may be feeling this from now all the way until the winter solstice in December. So don't rush it. There's no need to rush a mountain experience. You're there. Sit back, take it in. All right, let's see what else is going on here for my Earth Mother. Okay. All right, so we've got some seers among us. We have some ancient spirits among us in the form of little children. Woo, like it, love it. Thank you. Wow, isn't this apropos? Womb. We just had all this hoopla, legislation, politicking around the womb. And here is the womb showing up in your summer reading. Cancer. They want to remind you that you are sacred. So I think this is really, really interesting here. So for those of you who are seers, who already know you're seers, you're operating with the number 27. I thought that was 22. Some of you may want to look at 22, but 27. So things that come through with the number 27, also the number 9, you want to pay attention to that. I'm also seeing for some of you, you need to wear something around your throat. It looks like labradorite to me, labradorite. I'll try to remember to put that in the description box. So labradorite around the throat. I'm also seeing lapis for some of you, or another blue stone around the throat. And that is going to connect your voice center, your expression center, to your third eye center, so that you can speak what it is that you're seeing without judgment or hesitation. And that's what the goal is. Okay. Again, I'm seeing this time being for the summer. Okay. All the way up until the plants start to seed. Okay, so for those of you who are gardeners, from now until the plants begin to go up to seeds or whatever, for those of you who are growing things, when it starts to grow up to seed, that's the time period that you should be doing this if you're talking about timing. All right, so for these ancient souls, yes, there are ancient souls coming through in the form of little children. So those of you who are pregnant, bearing children, bringing in children at this time, those children are coming through with the blessings of the ancient teachers. Oh, thank you. I feel so thankful. So be paying attention right now to that. And then there's also some that are young, like little ones, and they're I've been watching them, to be honest with you, even without knowing. So some of these kids are not going to be at all like what, they're going to be. They've been here before. Let's just put it that way. So be on the lookout. And what our purpose is to protect those spirits. Protect them. Look out for them. Protect them. It's not about controlling them. It's about listening and responding and just being. So don't go trying to control these ones as they start to grow up, because that's what we like to do. And we understand that they can be unruly and misbehaving and acting like cheetah. But what we do know is that it's not about control. Okay? Speaking of control, the womb. This is a sacred space, the womb. It's a sacred space. It's sacred unto women, those born with a vagina, vulva, uterus, ovaries. Okay? I'm going to say all of it because, we got this whole, what are we going to call it? Is it a vagina or is it a vulva or is it, you know what we're talking about. Okay? Don't let us break it down. Okay? So what we're talking about is that womb, and that womb is a sacred space. Okay? Not every child is born into the living. Okay? Those that are born into the living have their time, and then we are dust. Some of us are here for very short times. Some of us are here for very long times, according to our own perception, because really we're here for the blink of an eye. The womb is a sacred space. That's what you have to remember. That's what we all have to remember. And if we can start there, okay, then we can begin to resolve all this cockamamie BS that is out here in relationship to it, okay? That's a charge. I am seeing that there are those of you in this circle who are going to feel compelled to do this work. There's some of you that are going to feel compelled to do this work. I'll tell you why. Because Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, which represents the feminine, the grandmother, for some people, mother. The pull of the moon moves the waters of earth. Before you are born, there are waters that come forth first, then you, out of the womb. So, that's somebody's work right there. It's powerful work as well. Remember that you're sacred. Why? Because, and for some of you, this goes right along with this story here about the womb. Remember that you are sacred. Not only is your womb sacred, but you are sacred. And this is for everybody. Man, woman, chick, child, I don't care what your gender is. Not I don't care, but you know what I'm saying. Doesn't matter. You, whoever you are sacred. And so therefore, let that knowledge inform your movements, inform your decisions, inform what it is that you choose to do or not do. Let that be the thing that checks yourself. I'm sacred, so some of this I'm not going to be doing. You have to remember that, yes, we are, small in the bigger scheme of things. We don't want to over-aggrandize our ego. It's not about ego. It's about understanding what you have the capacity to do on planet Earth. All right, Cancer. I didn't know I was going all the way there, but I guess they want us to go all the way there, so I'm going. Okay. So I'm reading now for the Mystical Shaman Oracle. For those of you who can appreciate the teachings of Native American people, their way of life. For those of you who respect this little piece of the world, where on your ancestors trod. You can take a moment to respect the earth and recognize yourself as a part of it. That's what it's all about. So in the very center, we have the crow for you. Now, this, to me, is a powerful symbol, animal totem symbol, because the crow is said to be able to look into both worlds, both into the spiritual realm and also into the physical realm. And so because of that, he understands the laws that govern both, and he can move between them, okay? That's the energy of the crow as it was taught to me. Somebody else may have a different story. We can always add to it. For me, what I'm seeing with this card is that there is this connection between the voice. We're going back to that thing I said about the labradorite or the azurite or the blue, whatever these blue stones and this labradorite that you have to put around your throat chakra. Okay? That's what it has to do with. And so, again, for those of you who are the seers, oh, I hate that maybe let me pull these back out. Hopefully, I didn't. I always forget to do that. I need to leave these out because sometimes they will go back to it. All right, so this is the message for the seers, okay? So this whole thing about the throat and connecting to the throat chakra and opening the throat chakra is very significant. You need to be paying attention to that, and you also need to do that work around your throat because it is important that whatever it is that you're seeing, that you're able to speak or that you feel that you can speak it, okay? You're going between. If you're a seer, then you're able to see on one side and you have to deliver the message to the people. Otherwise, your vision serves no purpose. It serves no purpose, then it means nothing. It's like a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. So in the south part, the southern, in the south, the position of the south, which is the position of childhood or learning or discovering or being open to discover new things, you have the rainbow. So for those of you for whom the rainbow is a symbol, and we know there are many of you who connect with the symbol of the rainbow in different ways, that this is that time. This is the time for learning and discovering what that symbolism is about, what it means, to quell your ignorance around such, to be open to receive that which you are learning and discovering. So for some of you, this is going to be a challenge, but that's okay because look, it's in the place of learning. And then we also have to remember that some of us are still learning, okay? I also have to recognize in the rainbow, the Oyayansa specifically. There's references to Oyayansa and the rainbow, okay? There's a serpent in the rainbow. So wherever that lives for you in terms of symbolism, you need to, this is a time for learning for you. This is a time that you're going to be discovering new things, or that particular teaching or that symbol is going to teach you, fortify you. It's going to be a place of learning. For some of you, you are just coming out of or just completing your vision quest. Remember when we talked about the mountain? That's why you're here, because you have sought and you have seen and you have accomplished, and now you're at a certain place. So this is something that has either just recently happened or has happened in the near, like the near past, like here recently in the past 3 to 6 months or so. Yes, 6 months is what I'm getting for some of you. So now this summertime is really heralding a new time for you, okay? It's heralding a new time. You're going to be breaking free. You're going to be speaking from your heart. You're going to be stepping out on faith. Some of you are ready to fly. That energy is already coming through, okay? Okay. In the north, which is the place of wisdom, is the ghost dance. Okay? I think it's going to be really important for some of you to study the ghost dance, to learn about it, to learn about the history and as much as you can about it. If you know somebody that knows about the ghost dance from personal experience, it would be good to learn from them about that. Certainly when we think about ghosts, if that's not your path, then certainly when we think about ghosts, we think about that which is looming in the spiritual realm, either around us or that may be having some sort of influence for some of you. For some of you, this space is where ancestors live. For some of you, not, like this term ghost per se is different depending on which culture you're coming from and what that means. So like I said, get in where you fit in on that one. But it comes with the number 22, which is a mastery number. What we talk about a mastery number, where you are dealing with dualities in nature and then finding the form in it. Okay, finding form, dealing with the dualities, and then finding the form for it. Okay, because the thing that people get caught up with duality is like they're always on the right or the left, the good or the bad. They always do that. They hang somewhere on each extreme, but somewhere in the middle there is a pivot point, or there is a point where both are captured in the one, and that's the gateway that moves you past the duality and into the form. I hope this makes sense to you. So right now, that's the wisdom that you are either you're acquiring or you have acquired at this point for some of you. Some of you are all ready for the ghost dance. You are prepared for it, and you are in a position to receive that as a teaching from the elders. And if you are, blessings be upon you for your journey. Give thanks that you have arrived at that point, because there was a time we might not have thought that it could happen. So in the East, we have Pachamama. Pachamama, I think for some, we would talk about a mother spirit. This one is coming in with fire. Okay, so for those of you who understand who within your culture there is a mother spirit or a divine mother spirit, and depending on what your culture is, your tribe, etc., your belief system, that may be, you know who that is. Okay, so this one is coming in with fire, and it's coming in the summer. You will need to pay attention to your moon changes during this time, during the whole summer season, okay? Because this information is going to be coming through that particular vein, okay? For those of you who don't, you will want to pay. For those of you who don't, um, don't honor mother spirits per se, you will want to pay attention to the mothering people around you. There may be messages that they may share with you, important information, guidance, words of protection. Pay attention to their ways, the things that their ways, more so than, I'm not going to say more so than what they say. Pay attention to what they say, but also pay attention to their ways, because they're teaching through the way that they move and the things they do, in addition to the things that they tell you and warn you about. So pay attention to your to the women around you that you consider to be mothering people or motherly spirits, and you guys know what you need to do there. Okay. All right. So that is it for the June reading for Cancer. Looks like it's a nice little smorgasbord of stuff to sink your mind and thought and spiritual work into. I look forward to hearing from you too, if you can share with me about how some of this is resonating with you by leaving your comments in the box below. And as always, I hope you have a great day, and I hope you're having a wonderful life.